Okay, so scalping is, turn off my phone so I don't get interrupted here. Scalping is kind of the beast of trading, right? Like it's kind of the all information together. Scalping is probably the hardest thing to do in trading. It is very easy to look for a bottom on a coin, set a buy, wait for it to get hit, set a sell, wait for it to get what we're doing with QKC right now is a very easy trade. Like QKC, we're just looking to see how it responds to 170, no pressure, nothing. You just sit here in the coin and just let it crawl, right? Let it crawl to 170. It's going to hit the valley at 170, and then it could impulse up. Like that's what you're hoping for on QK. Like this is a very simple trade, QKC. Even you go to the hourly. So this is kind of, yes, it's just trending up, and it has really no end in sight right now. It's going to get to this 170 level here, and if it can pass this daily zone here, this origin level at 175 from back here, so this candle back here, 175 is the top. Like if it can pass this, it's going to explode over, and it's going to target its next daily target, or at a minimum some kind of inverse level, right? So you look at this thing, and you're going to target some inverse level. So 250. This like 250 is a pretty relatively safe buy in my opinion. Even now more so than ever, seeing how this is just slowly trending up against this valley, and it could even impulse up to 317 or 350 or 370, whatever that origin level is right here. This 350 level, right? And even back targets the highest wick at 374. Sure, fine. Perfectly normal. This is not what scalping is, right? This is a very easy trade. This is a very do your research. So the difference being is QKC. We did our research. We talked about the position. We understood why it was a good position. We simply set some targets and ideas of what we would like to see, and we can react accordingly, right? So if QKC goes to 173 and starts to pull back, we can just short it, see where the pull happens to. It could possibly pull back to the top of this, which is 143. Very quick look at it, right? 143 is good re-entry, and then it can impulse up later to this bigger target. That's a very good possibility, right? Again, this is not scalping. Scalping is everything we know on a micro time frame. So taking the idea of what we have in that QKC trade and amplifying it to the extent where you have to make decisions in the moment. So if we were to look at Matic, right, and we were to start scalping this, you have a wealth of information that you need to start using. First and foremost, your low time frames. Scalping becomes a test of these micro time frames against each other and moving averages. So we are going to go here and take our key off and go, what is it, Matic? Matic BTC, right? Okay, sure, whatever, Matic Bridge, sure. Don't really care about that right now. So we are going to start on all scalping timeframes. You have to first and foremost have a bigger picture of scalping. You can't just jump into a coin and start scalping it, because there's always going to be a target. Your targets in scalping are always going to be values from the past, right? Like you would start by saying, okay, Matic is starting to move up. Let's just start drawing out some values, grasp where this coin is. So we have an origin here that it's trying to break over and hold right now. That's huge. Right now it's trying to break an origin and did back test this valley right here. So you have kind of this pretty impactful moment. So you have this right here, which did test the origin, tested at first, it pushed up to the valley, and now it's pushing up, I guess, to the next valley. So it keeps impulsing up to these valleys. So it's just constantly right now laddering against these valleys. We need to find out where its target is before we even scalp this thing, to say, okay, we need to build a situation first. So what is the target here? So we're going to switch this to a little bit more of a significant level. We want to find the origin level on this, which is potentially right here. That candle right there, it looks like. Let's go to the 15-minute and see where that valley starts. So we need to find kind of the max target. In this case, we know it's an origin. There is an origin somewhere in here. And it looks like it's right here. This 15-minute valley that got back attacked right here is going to dictate the future. So this 15-minute valley does get attacked here and fails its move, gets attacked again, origin level. That's going to be a point of a complete top for Matic. So that's the first way we start with scalping. We kind of identify the maximum target, right? And we kind of have to do this stuff quickly because Matic is moving and we need to know what it's doing. This is gone. We already know. This is gone. We already know that. What do you want, a 15-minute? We need to move down. Lower, maybe not. So Matic is moving up, right? Okay, we actually didn't target that one, so let's actually go back and put this here. This valley right here. Come on, and that's perfectly fine. We have that there. Okay, and we're going to find the inverse level as well. But to start, we need to identify where proper entry is. So proper entry on a scalp is always going to be the hold level, right? Like no matter what, you're going to hit the hold level on any one of these, right? Like even here, right here, don't hit that. Where's the valley? The valley would be right here. So the valley being the re-entry for that. Now, once we've already tested this valley, we need to start looking for re-entry inside of here. So first and foremost, Matic needs to pull back right now to a hold level. So if we were going to take this position, the first thing we have to do is identify the perfect buy. I'm really focusing a lot on that with people is identifying the perfect buy opportunities, because when you buy too high, you've just done nothing but reduce the probability to have a successful trade. Even if it's only 2% trade, a 2% trade in a few minutes can be huge if you have the right leverage, right? So first we need to identify the value. Start that on low time frames. I wouldn't be looking at this and saying maximum target is down here. This is not really that much of a scalp position if you're starting to use hourly and 4-hour valleys. Like if we're starting to come down here and use some of these bigger valleys, like this hasn't been tested yet. Coming back down, this hasn't been tested yet. So you have a valley here. This has been tested. This one has not. So in a case where distribution is going to continue to happen, you have these hold levels that need to be touched and tested, right? So we're just going to mark these as white for this example. Buy zones are going to be, actually, you know what, we'll do green because that's nice and clear. Buy zones make the money. Green right there, and green right here. Do this, do that. Okay, perfect. So we're starting to look at where we could possibly buy perfect entry on Matic. So identifying the best entry. Now we're actually getting into scalping and what scalping looks like, going into these 1 minute candles. And scalping, I like to use Binance and also TradingView, for the reason that on Binance you'll see your moving average is a bit better, but those just show you trend, right? Like this is just going to show you trend. This is not going to, these moving averages are just going to show you trend. Like you could see trend break was about to happen here. You know, you've got trend here. It's about to happen somewhat relatively close in the future as these are going down. You're about to break trend here. So you do, and you lose the move on Matic. So really to start scalping is a test of everything work together, right? Like micro trends on these super small time frames, moving averages, which are going to show you when those trends are breaking and this thing is losing momentum and volume. Hold levels, break levels, and back targets, right? So we already know that we have back targeted this part of the move right here, right? So we've back targeted this. Now we need to understand if this is an origin level, right? Are we creating an origin level right now, or are we just creating a constant push up? Because if we're creating an origin level, the move is going to be done and the pullback is going to happen and it's going to be over, right? So the first thing we need to do in doing this is start drawing out some very local, some very, very local trends, because this has to break for this move to start going up. So when you look at Matic here and you start to see things like this, where these moving averages cross, this is what has happened. This from here, the top of this red candle from here, which is just the top of a 5 minute candle. So this is an accumulation candle right on another time frame, to this candle right here is going to be relatively like this, right? It's going to come here and it's going to break relatively right here where you see those moving averages cross. So people are scalping based on these moving averages, but you need to be buying this 195. So what time frame was this? This is 2036. So let's go analyze this. 2036. That was very recent, right? Like what are we on? 3 minute, and that was just okay. So 2036. Where's 2036? Right in here. Oh, okay, right, because this is TradingView is pretty condensed down. 3 minute candles, right? You would have seen this exact thing happen here, like this. Here to here, and you would have seen where it's breaking and where it created the valley, which would have been here, which would have been here. Right now we have this marked as right here, but this would have been trying to break this, which would have been this right here, the top of this, which would have been kind of the local origin. So that's fine. So this MA cross that we see, like people, this is the kind of the thing that is incorrect about scalping, is people look at this and they'll say, oh, we're about to cross the moving average back up. Well, you guys know, but based on what moving averages mean, that you're just going to break trend. Like that's all that happens when you hold the moving average and you spike over top. Like this is what a trend break does, right? We break trend and we move up. So it's really good to kind of gauge something, to quickly scan where something is at. Like if you know, we'll go back to Matic Euro real quick, but if we were just to look at, what was it? Link's gone on the list. Sellers got good volume too. Link must have hit a 24-hour period where it was a high price. Yeah, like seller too. We know like there's no point to buy this right now. Like we can see that trend break from here to here is not going to happen till a little bit out here. There's a possibility that trend break is from here to this candle right here, right? Like this right here. It could possibly break trend here, but again, we need to know what level is being hit or held prior to this. We can't simply just say, oh yes, like that's perfectly fine. You have a trend support down here. That's what your moving average is. It's trend support, right? So are you buying trend support or are you buying this hold level down here? Most likely you're going to be buying this hold down here, right? You could be possibly buying trend support. So if trend support starts to hold across the trend break, then fine. You can look at that. So seller, like it's not ready either, right? So you can just use this as a quick example. Seller's getting closer. Seller's getting closer to a trend touch. So if we were to look at seller, let's get rid of our QKC chart and go seller as well. See exactly where seller is right now. Okay, so seller actually has hit a level, but I'm not really convinced in that. This is a pretty old chart. I would much rather see what trend is showing us right now. Come on, come on. There we go. Come on. Something like either this one, this first one right here. Yep. So we have either gotten trend support or we will get level support, right? Like we can get rid of this. I don't know. I guess this broke and the move moved up for whatever reason it was there. That's fine. We probably even have a hold level smaller time frame than that. So what I'm looking for is hold levels on micro time frames, right? So you do have one right, come on, right there. And you do have that there. More importantly, though, you kind of want to target these larger levels. So really seller has to break this right now, right? Like seller has to trend against this. Most likely coming back down to here. The first notable trend that's a decent valley. So kind of the top of this, whatever this breakout level was here, which is that valley there. This is pretty safe right here.
Hey everyone, how's it going? As you know, I'm now giving out some of this content for free that I was otherwise charging for the past little while. Yeah, drop a donation, subscribe to the channel, join Patreon. You'll get access to Discord. Great way. Lots of top level traders in there, people who are doing this for a career every single day. So go to Patreon, join a tier, get access to Discord. Go on Reddit, talk about future of trading, talk about the science of trading, talk about cotton candy, socials, everything you can. Let's help this thing grow. It's the way you guys can thank me for giving out this content for free that I was otherwise charging money for. So I'll leave a Bitcoin address on the screen. I'll leave the Patreon address on the screen. Just do something to help out. Okay, thanks guys. Take care.